deep dive today into exactly how the Queen felt about Meghan Markle. And when I say she hated her, I know some people will think that is a strong word, Brittany, but I just want to explain what I mean.
Meghan Markle used a surrogate. That's been something posited literally for well over 3 years when it comes to her firstborn son, Archie, and even her daughter, Lilibet. And many people even wonder, are their children even real?
Where the final tension between Queen Elizabeth and Meghan Markle had nothing to do with racism or the well-known Oprah interview. What if the real issue was something far more controversial? Something that, according to some reports, had been quietly discussed behind palace doors for years. Some royal commentators claim that one of the most serious disagreements between the Queen and the Duchess of Sussex may have revolved around long-standing speculation about surrogacy. During the Queen's final months, insiders suggested the growing rumors and online debates had become impossible to ignore. Critics pointed to moments they believed raised questions, including confusing timelines surrounding Archie's birth, viral clips of Meghan's pregnancy that circulated widely online, and the limited public appearances of the couple's children. According to certain accounts shared by royal observers and biographers, the Queen was aware of the speculation and reportedly wanted clarity about the situation before her passing. When Queen Elizabeth II died in September 2022 at Balmoral Castle at the age of 96, some commentators later claimed the controversy had been weighing on her during her final months while she was already dealing with serious health issues. Royal biographer Sally Bedell Smith has written about conversations with palace sources who said the Queen privately expressed concern about the situation and believed something about the story surrounding the pregnancies did not fully make sense. At a small gathering in Balmoral shortly before her death, witnesses reportedly recalled the Queen speaking unusually openly about Prince Harry and Meghan, describing the situation as deeply troubling and surprising those present with her direct remarks. According to those reports, the heart of the disagreement involved questions about documentation connected to births, including medical confirmation that would satisfy traditional royal succession rules. Under long-standing constitutional traditions, royal heirs are expected to be born directly from the body of the titled royal mother, meaning that if surrogacy were involved, it could theoretically raise questions about titles or succession rights for Archie and Lilibet. Supporters of Harry and Meghan strongly reject these claims and argue the rumors are based on speculation rather than evidence. But the debate has continued among some royal commentators, especially after details from Prince Harry's memoir Spare were discussed by critics who believe parts of the timeline described in the book sounded unusual. For example, Harry wrote that Meghan returned home from a hospital only a few hours after Archie's birth, something some medical professionals have said would normally be unlikely because hospitals usually require mothers and newborns to remain under observation for longer periods after delivery. Additional confusion also surrounded how the palace initially announced Archie's birth, with reporters at the time saying they received mixed messages about whether the baby had already been born or whether Meghan was still in labor. Another moment that drew attention occurred when Prince Harry jokingly said during Archie's first public appearance that it was amazing how much he's changed in the last 2 weeks, a comment he quickly corrected but which spread widely online. Viral footage from a royal visit in Birkenhead also sparked debate when viewers claimed Meghan's baby bump appeared to shift shape while she was walking, although supporters argued the effect could easily be explained by clothing movement, camera angles, or lighting. Over time, these moments fueled continued discussion across social media and among royal watchers, with critics examining photos and timelines while others dismissed claims as internet speculation. Despite years of rumors and debate, Buckingham Palace has never publicly addressed the theories directly, leaving the issue unresolved and allowing the conversation to continue among journalists, commentators, and royal observers who remain divided over whether the controversy represents genuine unanswered questions or simply the modern media environment amplifying speculation about one of the world's most closely watched families.
What Meghan and Harry did instead was they did not announce it when Meghan went into labor, for whatever reason. They kept Archie's birth private for over 8 hours. They did not tell people that he was actually born and arrived until 8 hours later. They also issued a confusing press release suggesting Meghan had just gone into labor after Archie had already been born. So they were playing games here with this, and the result was that the media and the public felt misled.
Instead of announcing when Meghan went into labor, Prince Harry and Meghan kept Archie's birth private for several hours. Reports suggested the public was only informed about the birth roughly 8 hours later, and a confusing press release was released that implied Meghan had just gone into labor even though the baby had already been born. Because of this, some members of the media felt they had been misled, which immediately sparked debate and speculation. Observers also began analyzing photographs from the pregnancy period, with some claiming that Meghan's baby bump appeared different in various images, sometimes high and firm, other times lower or less defined. Those visual differences quickly became a topic of discussion among photographers and royal watchers studying the images closely. Another moment that attracted attention occurred when Meghan shared a video on social media that appeared to show her dancing energetically in a hospital room while Harry filmed. The caption suggested they were trying to encourage labor before the birth of their daughter, Lilibet. Medical professionals reacted to the video by explaining that hospitals normally admit patients when labor has already begun or when a medically supervised induction is planned, not simply for activities meant to start labor. Some midwives also noted that during active labor, most women are focused on managing contractions and discomfort rather than performing energetic movements for a camera. Because of that, critics argue the video looked more like social media content than a private family moment. At the same time, curiosity about the children themselves continued to grow. While Prince William and Princess Catherine's children are regularly seen at school events, royal ceremonies, and public outings, Archie and Lilibet are rarely photographed or spotted in public. Living in California, where celebrity sightings are common, some observers say the lack of everyday glimpses has only increased the mystery surrounding them. Critics also point out that Harry and Meghan often travel to events, conferences, and media appearances, yet the children are rarely mentioned during those trips, and there are almost no public images of the family traveling together or attending normal daily activities, such as school drop-offs. For some royal watchers, this creates the impression that the children remain largely absent from the public narrative whenever major events take place. This situation has led many commentators to ask why Buckingham Palace has never publicly pushed for documentation that could settle the rumors, such as detailed birth records or medical confirmation. Some analysts believe the palace avoids taking that step because it could create a massive public relations crisis. If the monarchy were seen questioning the legitimacy of Harry and Meghan's children, critics argue the debate could quickly turn into accusations of racism, especially after the famous Oprah interview where Meghan spoke about concerns related to Archie's skin color. That claim dominated headlines around the world and shaped public perception of the dispute. Royal historians, however, have pointed out that the rules surrounding royal titles and succession date back to 1917 under King George V, when it was established that the children and grandchildren of the monarch through the male line could receive the titles of prince or princess. When King Charles later became monarch, Archie became eligible as the sovereign's grandchild. Even so, critics believe the palace understands that any public investigation into surrogacy rumors could ignite a global scandal. Supporters of the monarchy argue that the issue would revolve around constitutional rules rather than race, but many observers believe the media environment today could easily turn the situation into a major international controversy. That possibility reportedly placed Queen Elizabeth in an extremely difficult position during her final months. If she pushed the issue publicly, it might have triggered a storm that could damage the very institution she had spent more than 70 years protecting. Some commentators describe the situation as a kind of political stalemate, suggesting the Queen may have felt unable to challenge the rumors openly without risking a crisis for the monarchy itself. Adding another layer to the speculation, Meghan's half-sister Samantha also spoke publicly about family discussions surrounding the pregnancy timeline, claiming that their father had once mentioned the possibility of frozen eggs being used if a surrogate were involved. Those remarks further fueled debate among commentators already questioning the story. Under long-standing British constitutional traditions, critics often note that a royal heir must be born from the body of a titled royal mother in order to qualify for the official line of succession. If surrogacy were involved, it could raise complicated legal questions about titles and succession rights. Some commentators argue this is why the topic continues to resurface in royal discussions, suggesting that if the rumors were ever proven true, it could potentially affect Archie and Lilibet's place within the royal family structure. Supporters of Harry and Meghan strongly reject these claims, insisting the controversy is based on speculation rather than evidence. Meanwhile, Queen Elizabeth spent her final months dealing with serious health issues and increasing frailty at Balmoral. According to some reports, the situation surrounding her grandson and his family weighed heavily on her during that time, and insiders claim she had difficult conversations with Harry and Meghan seeking clarity about the rumors that had circulated for years. Those questions were never publicly resolved before her passing. Today, under King Charles III, Archie and Lilibet remain in the royal line of succession, yet the debate continues among royal watchers and commentators around the world. Supporters argue that the couple simply chose privacy after years of intense media pressure and want to protect their children from constant public attention. Critics, however, say transparency matters when royal succession is involved and continue asking why clear documentation has never been presented to silence the speculation once and for all. Buckingham Palace has remained silent on the issue, allowing the debate to continue across social media, news programs, and royal forums where observers analyze every timeline, statement, and public appearance. Until definitive answers are provided, if they ever are, the story remains one of the most controversial mysteries surrounding the modern royal family, a mix of speculation, unanswered questions, and ongoing public fascination. The monarchy relies on tradition and trust, so the palace handles sensitive matters cautiously. Harry, Meghan, and their children remain at the center of speculation, with some defending their privacy and others demanding accountability. Under King Charles, the debate continues, and the full truth remains unknown.